You know that scene in Mean Girls when Regina George starts losing popularity after her secrets are revealed? Well, sometimes we don't even notice it. But small details in our behavior can push people away, and we don't always know why. Today, we're going to talk about 8 reasons that might be causing people to dislike you. Maybe you're being misunderstood, or you have a habit that's driving others away. And the worst part is that it could be happening without you even realizing it. But don't worry, I'm here to help you change that perception and avoid these behaviors that could be undermining your personal and even professional relationships. I'm Carol, and if you're tired of not understanding why some people don't connect with you, stick with me because today we're going to figure out how to turn these situations around. And since we're talking about transformation, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Did you know that 85% of the women who watch my videos aren't subscribed yet? Don't miss out. Hit the notification bell and give this video a like if you want to learn how to be more elegant in your interactions and in life. Speaking of elegance, are you the type who loves to travel in style? Check out my ebook, Be Elegant When You Travel. Global Etiquette for the Sophisticated Traveler. It's pinned in the first comment and will teach you how to be an impeccable traveler no matter where you go. Back to the topic. How many times have you wondered, why does that person seem to avoid me? Sometimes, without realizing it, we send out negative signals. So, how about we figure out together what might be happening and, more importantly, how to change it? Shall we get started? 1. The energy you bring changes the environment. Have you noticed in Harry Potter, every time Voldemort is mentioned or appears, the atmosphere becomes dark and filled with fear? It's not just because he's powerful, but also because of the aura of fear and destruction he carries. Now, consider the opposite. Instead of owning a room with grace, your negative mood might create a cloud of discomfort around you, pushing people away. The way you speak and react has a huge impact. Being constantly focused on flaws or negative aspects can make you come across as emotionally heavy. This can happen even in light situations, like at a party. If you drop a comment like, "The decor is beautiful, but the catering is slow," it leaves a bitter impression that people don't want to carry with them. But did you know that this attitude often reflects internal insecurities? When we focus on what's wrong around us, we're projecting our own dissatisfaction. The more we do this, the less we can enjoy the moment. Negativity becomes a sort of armor that, deep down, keeps us from forming genuine connections. So ask yourself, what do your words say about the energy you bring to the spaces you enter? 2. Conversation is a dance, not a monologue. Have you ever noticed how in romantic movies, the most captivating dialogues feel like a dance? A clear example is the movie Before Sunrise, where the conversation between the characters is light, full of exchanges, and both participate equally. Now think about the opposite. What if you were the only one talking? The truth is, there's nothing more exhausting than a one-sided conversation. Talking a lot might make it seem like you're in control, but in reality, it can push people away. Sometimes the urge to control the conversation is an unconscious attempt to fill the silence or to seem interesting. But the truth is, silence and attentive listening can be your best allies. The problem arises when the conversation stops being an exchange and turns into a lecture. Have you ever been at a dinner and suddenly realized that only your voice is filling the room? It's as if the space is dominated by just one frequency, and the other people can't find room to express themselves. Even if you have lots of interesting things to say, the key is knowing when to stop. Let others speak, ask questions that show genuine interest, and most importantly, listen without simply waiting for your turn to talk. A balanced conversation is like music, where all the notes complement each other without one trying to overpower the rest. After all, who doesn't like to feel that their voice matters too? 3. Gossip can be your worst enemy, even when disguised as news. Have you ever seen the movie Easy A? Emma Stone's character makes up a rumor about herself, and suddenly it spirals out of control, ruining her reputation. Gossip might seem fun or harmless at first, but it quickly becomes corrosive, both for the target and the one spreading it. And here's the interesting part. Those who participate often lose more than they realize. Talking about others can feel like a shortcut to building quick connections with people, but in reality, it has the opposite effect. Just like in Easy A, where the rumors end up hurting everyone, when you engage in spreading gossip or insinuations, those around you start to question your loyalty and discretion. Even if you aren't the one who started the rumor, being known as the person who knows everything can leave you isolated. The problem is that the line between light conversation and heavy gossip is thin. Imagine you're in a group discussing a coworker who supposedly got promoted unfairly. Comments like that create a toxic environment and destroy trust. Plus, those who participate participate in gossip come across as people who don't respect boundaries. And trust me, that's a reputation that's hard to shake. Want to have a more elegant and memorable presence in your interactions? Avoid conversations that put others in vulnerable positions. And if you're sharing news, ask yourself if it truly adds something positive to the discussion. If not, it might be time to change the subject. 4. The burden of constant complaining. Have you seen My Best Friend's Wedding? Julia Roberts' character, always trying to control the situation and manipulate events to go her way, becomes unbearable for those around her. When someone complains all the time, it creates an image of chronic dissatisfaction. Just like in a movie, negative energy turns the plot of interactions into something exhausting. Of course, just like movie characters have their preferences, you're entitled to dislike certain things too. But the secret lies in how you express it. When the focus is always on your complaints, whether it's about the location of an event, the weather, or even the restaurant menu, you give off the impression that nothing is ever good enough for you. Gradually, people start to avoid you, not out of a lack of friendship, but to escape the heavy vibe that constant complaining brings. Here's the key. It's not always the complaint itself that's the issue, but how you respond to things that are out of your control. If everyone decides to go to a place you're not fond of, a more elegant response would be something like, "I've been there before and didn't love it, but I'll join you guys and enjoy the company." This simple shift in tone changes the dynamic and makes you seem flexible, someone who values good relationships over being the eternal complainer. Complaining might feel like a way to express authenticity, but in reality, it's a fast track to losing your place in social and professional circles. So, how about changing the script and leaving behind the role of the person who always finds something negative? 5. Exaggerations and lies. The fastest way to lose credibility. In the movie Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo DiCaprio's character weaves a web of lies, deceiving everyone around him with increasingly elaborate stories. Despite his temporary success in fooling many people, the truth eventually comes out. In real life, this reckoning tends to happen even faster. Exaggerating stories or telling small lies may seem harmless at first, but over time, it erodes the trust people have in you. It doesn't have to be a huge lie. Even small embellishments like exaggerating details of a situation or making up excuses to get out of a commitment can damage your image. The question is, how long do you think you can keep up these little fabrications before you're found out? You know that one person in a conversation who always tells an outlandish story, and you start thinking, did that really happen? Once your word becomes questionable, everything you say is viewed with skepticism, and that's when you lose something essential: credibility. Elegance isn't just about how we dress or behave, it's also about our honesty. Whether in social or professional settings, being truthful is the key to building trust. Because, at the end of the day, who needs embellishments or lies to be interesting? Authenticity is what truly makes you stand out. 6. Celebrating others' happiness elevates your elegance. Have you seen A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff? Remember when the main character fulfills her dream, but her stepsisters react with jealousy and bitterness instead of joy? The inability to be happy for others' success can position you as insensitive and distant, exactly what you want to avoid. In real life, it's no different. Suppose a friend has just achieved something you also want, like a promotion or a dream vacation. Even if you feel a bit frustrated for not having reached the same milestone, it's crucial to express genuine enthusiasm. When someone shares their victory, they don't want to hear discouraging comments like, "Oh, but that car is so expensive right now," or "I'd never pay that much for a trip like that." These reactions push people away and leave the impression that you can't celebrate others' happiness. If you respond with something like, "Wow, that's amazing," it must feel wonderful. The impact is entirely different. You become the person who spreads good energy, someone people want to share their joyful moments with. The truth is, people connect more easily with those who celebrate their successes, and this empathy builds stronger, more lasting relationships. Elegance isn't just in the clothes we wear, but also in the emotional generosity we offer. Just like in the movie, those who can celebrate others' victories without letting their own frustrations show become admired, respected, and well-liked. Remember, someone else's success doesn't diminish yours. It can even inspire new paths for your own achievements. 7. Jealousy and neediness. If you've watched the series You, you're familiar with how uncontrolled jealousy can turn a relationship into something suffocating and dangerous. Sure, Joe takes it to extremes in every way possible, but his possessiveness is a distorted reflection of how jealousy, even in everyday life, can destroy friendships and important connections. In adulthood, people already have a lot of responsibilities: family, work, and even moments they need for themselves. When you start demanding too much attention, whether from friends friends or a partner, it creates pressure that turns any relationship into something heavy and unsustainable. There's nothing more exhausting than constantly being expected to prove your affection and availability. Healthy relationships are those where there's space for both parties to be independent and have their own lives without feeling the need to always be available. Jealousy and the constant need for attention make you come across as needy, and people start to distance themselves. Just like in the toxic world of You, where attachment turns into obsession, uncontrolled jealousy in real life transforms what could be a light friendship into an emotional burden no one wants to carry. The solution is to reevaluate what you're bringing to your relationships. Instead of focusing on what you think is missing or what you aren't receiving, why not concentrate on cultivating your own independence and valuing the time you spend with others without placing suffocating expectations? This shows emotional security and balance, two essential qualities for truly elegant interactions. 8. Silent competition. Have you noticed how, in The Devil Wears Prada, the relationship between Anne Hathaway's and Emily Blunt's characters is marked by constant, silent competition? Emily is always trying to prove she's more dedicated, more competent, more deserving, and this hidden rivalry ends up pushing them apart. That's because envy, disguised as competition, can ruin any relationship, giving the impression that you're always trying to outshine others. If someone shares an accomplishment like a planned trip or a new purchase, and your first reaction is to show that what you have or did is better, the impact is devastating. The other person feels like their achievement has been diminished, and instead of celebrating together, you've created a competitive atmosphere. This happens all the time, often in subtle ways. For example, someone mentions they're going to Japan, and you respond with, "Oh, I've been there. I prefer more exotic places like Thailand now." What could have been a light exchange of experiences turns into a competition, making the other person feel inferior. This need to compete stems from insecurity and the belief that we must be better to be valued. But true elegance lies in recognizing others' successes without trying to diminish them. What seems like an effort to stand out actually has the opposite effect. Instead of admiration, you create distance. Rather than compete, try changing your tone. When someone shares something, like a dream vacation, show genuine enthusiasm without trying to overshadow the moment. Elegance is about celebrating others' happiness without feeling like you need to do the same, or more. After all, in the theater of life, everyone shines in their own time, and trying to steal the spotlight only makes you appear envious and competitive, qualities that erode even the strongest friendships. Now that you understand the 8 reasons why people might not like you, it's time to put them into practice. We've talked about the importance of minding your behavior, from avoiding pessimism to celebrating others' successes. And jealousy? That might be one of the worst villains, right? Remember, no one wants to feel suffocated by someone who demands too much. Being flexible and celebrating others' happiness is essential to keeping your relationships light and healthy. The big question is, how can you subtly improve this in your daily life while building an elegant presence? After all, it's not just about fixing these points. It's about transforming your interactions and standing out in any environment. If you want to understand how elegant women achieve this through small details that make all the difference, I recommend watching the video, Elegant Women Do These 9 Little Things. In this video, you'll discover simple actions that can completely change how people perceive you. And no, they're not complicated, but small gestures that make others see something refined in you. Speaking of which, if you want to be an impeccable, elegant, and sophisticated traveler anywhere in the world, check out my ebook, Be Elegant When You Travel: Global Etiquette for the Sophisticated Traveler, pinned in the first comment. It'll teach you how to travel in style, maintaining elegance in every detail. Today, we've covered how to avoid falling into the traps of behaviors that push people away, right? Whether it's jealousy, competitiveness, or even the habit of complaining. If you want to continue on this path to success, elegance, and strong connections, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. The more elegant you are in your interactions, the more success you'll attract into your life. Because, as I always say, elegance is profitable. If you liked this video and are ready to make these changes, comment below. Elegance in relationships is everything. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, leave a like to show that you're ready to elevate the quality of your relationships.